I'm not looking forward to this. I am not looking forward to this in the fucking slightest. Before I even get started, before I say anything else, I have to adjust my webcam because my webcam is fucking all over the place. Give me a second. And no, I don't care that it's unprofessional. Let me just start by saying, if I am talking, of course, of this game, Fire Emblem Warriors. If you like this game, if you think this is a good game, don't watch this video. And if you want proof, well, I use the Lore Runner's review system, so I can actually show you why. This right here is why. I hate this game. Now, I know that score looks terrible, and it is terrible. One of the benefits of having not cleared it yet. Now, normally I wouldn't go ahead and show the score within a video, like I did for Valkyria Chronicles, for example. My point is, how do I phrase this? The point I'm making with all this, the reason I showed that score right away is just to set the tone for this. Because, and I will explain what the hell Rantview means in a minute, because, yeah, this is a Rantview. There was no way that this game was going to escape Rantview status. Like, once I started auditing this thing on the now debunked stream, I deleted the VODs, by the way. The VODs died because they were unusable. Completely fucking unusable. So that was a thing. Also, my attitude may be a little skewed because at the time of this recording, I have no fucking internet. But let's not get into that. So I only have 2 pages of notes. The 1 and 2. But yeah, so I've got a lot to say. I've got a decent chunk of things to say about this game. So let's. Okay. You know what? Before I start anything else, let's talk about what the hell a Rantview is. Okay, let's start there. I thought about starting with talking about, my thoughts on the Musou genre in general and yada yada yada, but no. Let's start with, and my history with Fire Emblem series and everything. God, this is my first Fire Emblem review. I just realized that. Oh my god. What a way to start. Anyways. So what the hell is a Rantview? Well, if you're familiar with the Lore Runner, his show is, rumination and analysis, right? The idea being that, he sits down in front of the camera and talks as if a person's right there, right? And then, we've just finished, watching an episode or playing a game or watching a movie or whatever. And now he's sitting down to discuss it with a fan. Now, mine is more, of course, giving my, saying my opinion, giving my opinion while I'm, while I'm discussing it, while I'm talking about it in the rumination style, right? Now, the Lore Runner has a concept called lamentation, which is about as far down on his show as he's willing to go. For something to get lamentation status from the Lore Runner, takes something special, because it's not enough to just be merely bad, right? Because you can be bad and true. Like, I mean, in the Lore Runner's opinion, Parasite Eve was bad. It was a bad game, and the Lore Runner didn't give if that's that game lamentation status. I forget if he gave Mummy Demastered lamentation status, but that's neither here nor there. Here, because that was also pretty damn bad too. But regardless, and again, I have no internet, so I can't check. Fun. Anyways, what I mean is, lamentation status for the lore runner is something special, to the point where, basically, the number of lamentations that he's ever had are very limited. Right. I think so. Not a lot, because he's done a lot of ruminations, right? The lore runner has recorded and released a lot of ruminations. To only have 16 out of hundreds, hundreds, yes, plural, is actually pretty impressive, right? I didn't think I didn't think I'd be doing Warriors as a Rantview. I really didn't. Rantview is my version of that, of Lamentation. I needed something that would get across the idea that it's bottom of the barrel in the same way the word Lamentation does, but my own unique spin on it. And my focus is more to critique and review something, rather than to just analyze and discuss, right? So, rant view was the idea. Now, I have only recorded one other rant view ever so far. Now, you obviously will not have seen that at the time you're watching this, unless this is like years in the future. But so I codified how I did my rant views because, well, let's just say I've been recording reviews of episodes of a certain TV show and leave it at that. And no, it's not Star Trek. I'm just going to go ahead and debunk that right now. It's not Star Trek. Star Trek has been tackled by way better people than me. And you know what? And in this style, dude, the lore runner's got that covered. So there's really no way I could ever top that. So let's not compete. Let's do a different version on something that that lore will never do pre-recorded videos on ever again. If anything.
What?
Let's face it, he's probably not going to allow anything from that particular franchise. Now, I'm staying tight-lipped on it because I want it to be kind of a surprise, but whatever. Let's talk about the biggest hurdle. So let's talk about why I hate this game so much, other than the fact that that this game got so many negatives. I feel like I have to admit I felt like I was being unfair to this game at times. I did, but the problem is the biggest problem with this game is the more I think about this fucking game. Oh yeah, I cuss a lot, by the way. The more I think of this fucking game, the more I'm just like, how do I phrase this? The more I think of this game, the worse it gets. Basically, is the basic gist of that. Let's start with my opinions on the Musou genre. Now, the Musou genre, for those who don't know, is what you call a Dynasty Warriors style game, which is what most people consider this, right? That's why Warriors is almost always in the English title, and why Musou is almost always in the Japanese title of any game like this. Now, now the first it now the first Warriors game that I remember actually playing, and I remember, and I'll be honest, I was also an idiot for calling this format button masher. So, Team Me was an asshole. We established this. Yeah, I think I said it in my Valkyria Chronicles video. But if I did, I established it in my Valkyria Chronicles video, and if I'm not, then I will establish it here. Teenage me was an asshole, so let's just leave it at that. Any opinion he held in his teen years is utterly invalid, completely fucking invalid, right? Because he was an asshole, so fuck him. Yes, I am talking smack about myself. Oh, but again, it was teenage me. I'd like to think I'm better now, but let's not get into that. But now teen me would just be unapologetic with his hate boner for this game. I'd like to at least say I'm at least mature enough to analyze this game in a way that that is more constructive, right? The first Warriors game I remember playing was actually Dynasty Warriors Gundam, specifically the first one, right? Which, by the way, Gundam Warriors? That just seems a little like, huh? Until you stop and think about it with the Gundam franchise, with the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise, and then it's like, actually, that fits, you know? I mean, Super Robot Wars' tactical RPG gameplay actually fits better with Gundam in my. Don't do this, body. I'm not in the mood. Sorry, yawn attack. But yeah, no, Mobile Suit Gundam actually works better with the Super Robot Wars style of tactical RPG, which is hilarious because Fire Emblem is at its core a tactical RPG franchise, which is funny because it makes me curious as to what how fair I could be to Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is a game I hate the very concept of. So we'll see, but because one of these days I'll review it. See, the biggest problem for me, by far, the biggest problem for me is a freaking yawn attack. Oh my god. I don't know what's been up with me lately. Anyways, my whole problem, the biggest problem that I have of with with this entire game is, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 1 was okay, right? I hated Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2, but that was back when I was a teen, so irrelevant. Again, irrelevancy. I guess teen slash early 20s, but you get my point. Younger me was an asshole. Moving on. Fuck, buddy. Fuck off. Ugh. Fucking yawns. Ugh. Then Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Right? Now, I think if it counts, there was a game called Devil Kings on the PS2. That one was actually kind of cool. Well, I should see if I can hunt that down when I get internet again. Anyways, there was games like Devil Kings, and I didn't really ever play the Dynasty Warriors games proper. Again, another reason to utterly ignore any opinions on the Dynasty Warriors series I've had up to this point, outside of the Musou games, right? So, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, good game. Right? At least I think it's a good game. Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn, or Shin Gundam Musou, as it's known in Japan. I've seen gameplay of that, and that looks alright. Right? Dynasty Warriors Yawn Attack is a fucking bore fest. Okay, I'm sorry. Alright. I'm trying to make fun of my yawn attacks because they're pissing me off. Which is funny because I'm already pissed off at this very game. So yeah, the Dynasty Warriors Gundam trilogy was alright. Devil Kings was cool. Well, then there was a game that nobody thought was ever going to work in any capacity. Because they took one look at that and was like, how the hell is that going to work? And that was, of course, Hyrule Warriors. Now this is, of course, the definitive edition on Switch, but the fact that this got a definitive edition on Switch, sorry for bumping my headset there, the fact that this actually got multiple versions should tell you everything it needs to. And no, I don't count Fire Emblem Warriors on the 3DS as another version because okay, maybe the 3DS game would score better, but I don't see how because just going through my notes, the stuff you'd have to change is you'd have to change the roster completely. You'd literally have to make the three original characters to this game completely, but so much better. You'd have to get rid of a good chunk of the grind, which this game would not. You'd have to substantially improve several aspects of the maps. You'd have to downplay the audio spam completely. You'd have to revamp history mode completely. What else do we got here? You'd have to substantially make the pacing better. You'd have to get rid of those stupid unskippable camera cutaways, which I'll explain. I'll explain a bit later. You'd have to make the end game substantially better. You know. There's so many things you'd have to do that the 3DS version would have to do in order to make it better. But the fact of the matter is by all accounts, from everything I've heard, the 3DS version is literally just the Switch game, but on the 3DS. So that doesn't work at that point. But you might be asking, what made Hyrule Warriors work? So what made Hyrule Warriors work, but Fire Emblem Warriors failed at? Well, two specific things. The first being, the most obvious one being the audio spam, and the other one being the roster. Right? I guess we're gonna go ahead and get into this. I guess I've already explained. I guess I already have explained Rantview status. So yeah, no. I love a good Warriors game because I actually think there are several games that could make for substantial Warriors fare, right? Admittedly, I have not played Persona 5 Scramble, that Dynasty Warriors Persona 5 game. I haven't played that one. And so I don't know how that one changes things up or how good or bad it is. Fuck. Can these yawns go away? God damn it. I'm not even that tired. I am wide awake. That's the problem. I'm yawning for no fucking reason. And I hate it. Oh. Anyways, sorry about that. I'm ranting more about yawning than I am about this game. Oh, that'll change once we start getting into it. Trust me. So, alright. So what did Fire Emblem Warriors fail at? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about the roster. Now, okay, I hate that I have to fucking say this, but I have to fucking say this. No, I am not in favor of sending death threats to developers. That is a shitty fucking thing to do, and any of the people who did that deserve a baseball bat to the face. There, done. Moving on. It's sad that I have to fucking say that. It really is, but I do need to fucking say that. I'm not cool with death threats. I never have been, and I never will be. The fact that I even have to fucking say that is fucking bullshit. But on the other hand, Koei Tecmo should have known better. Okay? They should have. Period. They should have known. They should have seen the backlash coming. Because this roster, in total, this roster has, I don't remember the exact numbers, forgive me. So there's the twins. Let's see, there's the twins. Then there's the Fates cast, which means it's up to 17. Ugh. Then there's Anna, bringing us up to 18, plus the 9 Awakening characters, so that brings us up to 27. And then and the 6 from Shadow Dragon, which is 33, and then Lyn and Celica. So 35. There are 35 characters in this entire game. 15 of those are from Fire Emblem Fates. 15 of those are from Fates. 9 of those are from Awakening. 6 are from Shadow Dragon. The 3 games that they said were going to be the main focus. The 3 that are going to be the main focus, huh? Meanwhile, you literally spent 8 of your 22 fucking chapters on Fates, and 15 out of the 35 complete roster, including the DLC, I feel like pointing out, which was 9. So which was like so like, which was 9 of the 26, which is that's about a third of the goddamn roster. What the hell were you thinking? In fact, that overall, that's actually more than a third of the goddamn roster. So no, seriously, what the hell were you thinking in adding in that many Fates characters? Never mind the fact of how many characters are practically fucking redundant and based on each other, right? Like, for example, Elise and Sakura are literally just Leo and Takumi with the capacity to heal people respectfully. If they're not equipped with staves, they're not doing anything. Just to name one example. Lissa, at least it makes sense because she was originally a freaking healer, and her actual in-game class of the War Cleric is actually a class she can change into, and is somewhat decent at, in Fire Emblem Awakening. Just like, I mean, again, so you literally have copy paste, at least with like one difference, just so you could have the Fates cast in there. Then you have, and then, and of course we had to have all of the Fates royals because, okay, Corrin, Xander, and Ryoma, those all make sense. Having Takumi, okay, I guess he's a major character. Hinoka, what the hell purpose does Hinoka serve in all of this? Leo, I guess you could say they, for the unique class of a horseback magic unit. Okay, fine. Camilla was here for fan service, let's just be blunt. Which is funny because it's almost as if this roster almost feels like it was picked, and thus it almost feels like this game was designed with somebody being horny for like the fan service characters of Awakening of Fates, but they didn't want anybody to know that they were horny. It was almost as if they realized, oh wait, we're Team Ninja. We have this nasty reputation for being being effective, of our games effectively being like 1 to 3 steps, depending on the game, away from being porn. The one step would of course be Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball for those curious. Yes. And then the 3-step would actually be this game, right? Because seriously, it almost felt like they were trying to disguise how horny they were because there's Camilla's victory animation, right? Which I actually gave a plus, believe it or not. There's a victory anima. Camilla's victory animation is literally she gets off her wyvern and she starts walking forward, and so the camera effectively does this imitation of a cutscene straight out of Fire Emblem Fates, which is of course the she walks out of the mist, right, and the camera has to zoom in on her waist, on her pelvis. On the front of her pelvis, then we have to get a close up of her ass, and then we have to get a close up of her tits. I don't remember if that's the actual order, and I don't fucking care right now because I'm so freaking pissy at it. The victory pose from Warriors is literally she hops off her wyvern, she starts walking forward, same sensual like, the finger at her lips thing, except the zoom ins are her axe, her face, and then and then a full body shot where she's like sorry as she's walking up to the camera. She puts her two fingers under your chin, lifts your head up, and says, "My eyes are up here." That was actually a clever way to usurp that. The problem is that's the best victory animation. just hands down, in my opinion, that's the best victory animation, and it's stupid. Yeah, you can tell I was grasping for straws when a fucking victory animation literally got a plus. Full plus, by the way, no aggregates here. See, the problem, though, the biggest issue here with this roster is it's all the modern Fire Emblem games, with the sole exception being Shadow Dragon. And even that you could kind of argue is not entirely true, because these designs are more as if they were to appear in Awakening, right? You know, like just oh my god. I know that I know that Awakening is often taunted uh, as being the one that turned Fire Emblem anime. I'd like to know what franchises those people were playing, because a lot of the stories are incredibly anime. It just does it's just now if you wanted to say that the designs made it go shonen, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could kind of see that. But anime? This franchise has always been anime. It's just the art style has been getting better, in my opinion, from since the old days, because the animations that are not sorry, not the animation, the art style has been getting better as the franchise goes on, right? I've liked the art style of several games because now it's just down to aesthetics, you know. There's also the fact that the roster is completely fucking unbalanced. There are so many, and I know how this is going to sound, but there are so many sword users that it's just pathetic. Like, seriously, you have the twins, you have Corrin, Xander, Ryoma, Crom, Lucina, Marth, frickin' Navarre's in here, Owain's in here, who else? Lynn uses a sword. Or you see the problem? That's 11 sword wielders. And again, so that's roughly a third of the goddamn roster uses that. Like axe wielders, there's like what? 3 axe wielders in the entire game? No, 4, excuse me. Sorry, Frederick, which is Frederick, Lissa, and Minerva. 3, no, 5, sorry, Camilla. 5 in the entire game. 5 characters who use axes. Are you fucking kidding me? One of those being DLC, I feel like pointing out. I hate the DLC, by the way. It is, simply put, it's basically bare bones DLC. And it's garbage, in my opinion. It adds some characters, it adds some history mode maps. The end. That's it. That's all it is. Oh, and let's not even get into the fact that the actual legacy characters that are in this game, like the actual pre-awakening characters that are in here, not counting the Shadow Dragon cast, have to be unlocked through history mode. Yeah, Lyn and Celica need to be unlocked through history mode. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, if you wanted this game to fucking sell, you put Lyn as one of the first characters you recruit. Newton people will be like, oh, I'm all over that, right? Like, just, oh my god. The other side of the part of the equation is that history mode, or not, sorry, is that the roster, the Fates roster, literally, like the Fates cast, not including DLC, because DLC is all at the bottom of the roster, are all at the top. It's literally the Twins, then the Fates cast, then the Awakening cast, then the Shadow Dragon cast. Fucking excuse you? Like, again, like I said, this game really feels like it just has this love affair with Fates, and it's just like, are you fucking serious right now? So, bad roster. It's completely skewed in Fates' favor, and it's completely got a fucking sword fetish. Like, it's despicable. Ickable. A fates and swords fetish. Like, god damn it. And I haven't really fully consulted my notes. So let's consult my notes because we're in the gameplay section. So let's just talk about it. So okay, the tutorials also suck. Now again, I guess I could have set this up where I could have had it not be interrupting. But god damn it, the default is to have interruptions out the goddamn ass. Yes, right? I don't even know because everything interrupts you. Level ups interrupt you, mission starting interrupts you, and and these tutorials pop up, which is like they were in Hyrule Warriors as well. But you want to know what Hyrule Warriors did? Hyrule Warriors basically had almost all of the tutorials finished before before you got out of like the first arc. Like once you got to the route split in Hyrule Warriors, I'm pretty sure that's when the tutorials ended. Like I'd have to, restart my excuse me. Oh my god. I'd have to restart my Hyrule Warriors playthrough in order to determine that, you know? Ugh. Also, the intro, the opening chapters of this game are boring. It is literally just tutorials. Until you get to chapter, I want to say it's like 2. The intro is completely boring, and it's just so stupid. Oh, I guess I should talk about the grinding. Okay. I simultaneously gave level grinding a plus and a negative. Now you're probably thinking, grind? Got a positive? How? It's actually less for the grind and more for the mitigation of the grind. Right? Because it's a catch-up mechanic, right? You get a bunch of gold and you can actually level your characters up to catch them up, right? Which I actually proved was actually doing wonders until I stopped because then I would have to grind gold. But then you would automatically turn it into grinding things out, and it's like, oh my god. The grind in this game is just freaking real. Now, the grind is also real in Hyrule Warriors, but the grind never bothered me in Hyrule Warriors because the grind, simply put, how do I phrase this? God damn it. Excuse me. The grind in Hyrule Warriors feels like it feels like you don't really necessarily have to grind out the characters unless you're wanting to unlock the entire roster and everything. And again, you can just kind of a lot of the times you will be able to gain level ups relatively quickly in Hyrule Warriors, right? I mean, okay, I'm okay. I imagine the okay. Admittedly, I don't think Hyrule Warriors is going to escape a negative for grind. I don't. But again, there's enough there that there's enough meat on the bones of the rest of the game that I'm willing to kind of overlook a couple of flaws like that, right? But Hyrule Warriors just keeps compounding the issues. And then there's the support grinding. Oh god. Ugh. So this is so stupid. We all know about support grinding in Fire Emblem. Any Fire Emblem fan will tell you that support grinds are can be awful, and they arguably were awful. They arguably were awful until Awakening, or not. Sorry, well, yes, until Awakening for sure. But some may argue awful until Awakening. Some would argue awful until Three Houses, in which there was like a bajillion ways to actually mitigate the support grind. It is still a grind, but it's less of one. So there's that. I was tempted to give multiple negatives to this for support grind, but I couldn't justify it for one very simple reason. He's in. You are not limited. These are not limited. Okay? These are not limited. But they are awful. But the grind is awful, and it absolutely just warrants that negative. I could retroactively just give an additional negative, but I don't want to do that. I do not intend to modify my score any more than I already have, because believe it or not, the original thing, can I still see it? Yeah. My original score was plus minus 23, minus 25, which yeah, I probably ended up only giving one negative. But again, that's me trying to play fair. If I ever did bother to re-review this game, I probably would give multiple negatives to frickin' the support grinding, because the more I think about it, the more awful it gets. I'm not going to do that, like I said, because again, that's just me being petty at that point. The support grind is a slog moving on. And I actually wouldn't bother giving it a negative if not for one other factor. And this is the other reason why I'm only giving it one negative, by the way, because there's only one factor that really pushes it into negative territory for me. And that is not every pairing has conversations, and the ones that do have conversations only happen at the A rank. What? That is so dumb. Now, admittedly, that is kind of what you would want, is for these interactions. So why don't we get more of them? Again, this is just I don't understand this. I really don't. There's my note about the audio spam. Oh god, the audio spam is awful in this game. Ugh. Alright, you know what? Yeah. I don't see any other ones that aren't maps, so let's deal with our last this universal the last thing that pisses me off, generally speaking, about the gameplay of this game. Occasionally in story mode you will get these cutaways. Okay, so what the camera will do is it will cut away to show you something like, oh hey, here's this wall of darkness that we gotta go find a mage and beat the shit out of, right? or whatever. Well, here's the problem with those camera cutaways. They interrupt your combos. I was several times. There was at least 3 or 4 incidences throughout my playthrough where I know I have no proof of this anymore, but there were 3 or 4 instances where I actually was in the middle of a combo. The camera cuts away to show me a wall of darkness, and then I lost the combo. The enemy didn't die from my combo, even though Lucina literally said you could literally hear Lucina's voice, Alexis Tipton's voice clip as Lucina going out of my way, and then it cuts back. Like the gameplay, the enemy that I was targeting was still alive. What? That's what I mean. I mean, okay. My best friend has described an instance that happened to him a few times in Resident Evil 4, where he would shoot his gun right as soon as the cabin sequence in that game ended. I'm just gonna call it the cabin scene and move on because I don't want to spoil RE4 in this. Yes, but that wastes a bullet, right? You waste a bullet in order to because the end of that section chimed in right when you fired a bullet, right? It literally freezes for half a second, like the animation, and like the scenery actually, the picture actually freezes for half a second to show that with the flash to show that you fired, right? And you still lose that bullet. It's a wasted bullet, in other words. Well, that's what this is, except even goddamn worse and makes even less fucking sense. Because again, the clip still went through, but because of how the game's programmed, it didn't count. Do you understand how fucking stupid that is? Like, I hate that. At least have the enemy downed in the middle of it. At least when frickin' Hyrule Warriors does that, it has the common courtesy to just basically snap me into a ready position and be like, nope. I mean, it's still stupid there, but at least that's a thing. Ugh. Oh, I guess I should talk about the power progression curve of history mode now while I'm on the subject. And why history mode got basically 2 negatives and a positive and 2 negatives. History mode is a good idea. It's the same as adventure mode in Hyrule Warriors. The problem is even history mode seems to prefer to, let's just call it what it is, kiss the ass of Fire Emblem Fates. Because so many of the maps are either from Fates or uh are from like it's basically Fates, Shadow Dragon, and Awakening that get all the maps. And I'm pretty sure Awakening only has one map that I'm thinking of now, Invisible Ties, and then there's at least like actually, no, maybe not. Actually, maybe Shadow Dragon got all the love in history mode because I'm actually thinking of like 5 or 6 maps that were Shadow Dragon exclusive. Then there was, of course, one that was based on Blazing Sword, which was where you get Lyn, and one that was based on Guidance / Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which is where you get Celica. I didn't get Celica unlocked until until I actually finished it, because that's how long and grindy this process is. Because again, the enemies are unbalanced and history mode is completely unbalanced. Even having frickin' Sakura and Takumi at level or like just below or at level, they were still failing because certain enemies were taking forever and 9 billion years to frickin' defeat. Now, yeah, I know. Oh, that's probably because of the weapons that I gave them, but I shouldn't have to equip them with better with weapons that are stronger than than Takumi's legendary bow. Takumi's bow should not be that frickin' weak sauce. Same with the falchions, if I'm honest. And that is just... Oh, that pisses me off so goddamn much. Ugh. But there it is. History mode sucks. Moving on. I mean, it's simultaneously cool and simultaneously awful. Speaking of awful, I'm out of gameplay notes. Oh. Alright. 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 Spoilers now. If you give a fuck at this point. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, actually, no. Before I get that, I actually have to give you a proper spoiler warning because that's your spoiler warning for Warriors. I actually need to give you a proper spoiler warning for a different game. Okay? In fact, give me 1 second. Heckin', because I'm actually going to bring this up. Yes, it's right there. I am actually going to go ahead and bring this up. Because I will show you the game that I am giving the spoiler warning for. If it ever loads. I guess it would help if I actually had my Wii U connected to my capture card. Okay. Ugh. So, spoilers, Hailers Ahoy, for a much better game. Whoops. Oh, now the audio's coming in. Fuck. This game, okay? I have to spoil this game in order to make you understand how bad this frickin'... Stop it. I have to spoil this game to make you understand just how awful Warriors' story is, okay? Because Warriors' story, or at least involving the main lords, it spoils this game. So, but yeah, no, it's... So, there, I can turn that off. So, spoilers for Sacred Stones, because in order for you to understand how thoroughly this story fucks up, you need to understand the story of Sacred Stones. Now, on the surface of it, this is still stupid. You know, fake drama, Rowan and Leanna are fucking morons, Darius is poorly written, hitting the whole 9 yards. But you want to know why this story really pisses me off? It is a complete fucking ripoff, minus including the Awakening of Fates characters, of Sacred Stones. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it for a second. Twin royal siblings, a prince and a princess, you know, one parent sitting on the throne. It's just a mother instead of a father this time at this point. Which, I mean, you could have just said Yelena was the frickin' mother of Ephraim and Erica. I mean, actually, I don't remember if Ephraim and Erica's mother was ever name dropped in the actual game. I would have to actually go through Sacred Stones again, which is not a bad idea because I love Sacred Stones and I hate this game. Ugh. Anyways, but yeah, no, think about it. And then they also are best friends with the prince of a neighboring country, Grotto in that case. Oh, and and yes, by the way, Grotto also invades Renas while we're on the subject in Sacred Stones. Sound familiar? Oh, and then there's Dario secretly working against us to resurrect the final boss. It's unfortunate, Then there's of course the best friend, working to resurrect the final boss. It's just a demon lord instead of that has taken over him instead of the fucking debatable as fuck nature of whatever the hell was going on with Darius. I mean, that was honestly my assumption, was that he was just manipulated by the Chaos Dragon. But having played through this, I don't fucking know if that's true anymore. Because again, they never pretend like Leon is on the up and up in frickin' like Leon is actually like it's anything other than the frickin' demon lord possessing him in Sacred Stones. I gave the spoiler warning for Sacred Stones. Stones. Oh my god. I just I don't again, I'm not going to go too in depth into it because there is a lot more nuance to it. But again, that is the basic gist, right? It's a complete fucking ripoff. It is a complete fucking ripoff, and it's so stupid. You've heard that you've heard talk of it before, right? Homage versus ripoff, right? An homage is, if I like it, it's an homage. If I don't, it's a ripoff, right? That kind of a thing. Some people have also described it as doing taking something and not adding anything to it. And that's what I feel like the warrior side of of this storyline does, because it doesn't add anything new to the discussion. Hell, I'd argue it doesn't add anything new to the discussion on any of the storylines it's aping in this fucking in this fucking game. The most is the idea that Crom and Lissa both discover their kids at the exact same time. That's the only difference. You know? And that actually just pisses me off of something fierce, because we get the whole Brand of the Exalt in Lucina's eye, because we're gonna get close, because of course during the special attacks that you get the close-ups of the faces, so they felt like they had to do that. But no, the biggest problem is how do I phrase this? The problem is that they don't really understand the nuances of the characters as they were in Awakening. You know, like, let me just put it to you this way: I'm going to be taking an advantage of my lack of an internet over the course of the next week, which is how long my internet shortage, from my perspective, is going to last. But, 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 here's the other side of the equation, the other side of the coin. Right. In Awakening, there is literally a scene. It actually happens after the map, and I know it's limited because of the stills and text thing, the nature of the 3DS. But on the 3DS, in Awakening, there is a scene. You can't really see my arm, so we'll move my camera a bit here. Sorry for all the camera movement in this thing, because I need to visually demonstrate this. So there's a scene where Owain's sleeve gets torn, right? His sleeve gets torn. Okay, here, I have a hole in my shirt. So oh no, there's a hole in my sleeve now. And it's big enough to show that Alyssa sees something from in the torn sleeve. Heave, right? Now you're probably thinking, what could possibly be shown on on his arm, and that where the torn sleeve was, in order to be of significance? Owain's brand of the Exalt. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you don't understand why that's relevant, really minor spoilers for Awakening. Lissa's brand of the Exalt never manifested, never showed. The brand of the Exalt usually appears somewhere on somebody with Exalted Blood's body, right? The brand, as some versions of it will call it, right? Like, for example, in Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, Alm and Selka have the brand, right? Well, it's the brand of the Exalt, in this case, and it's effectively the symbol, that like the symbol that appears in light when Lucina does her special attack, and the symbol that's in her eye, and the one that's on Crom's shoulder, that is the brand of the Exalt. Does this image have it? Oh, okay, you can barely see it. You can barely see it, but it's on Crom's shoulder there, right? I don't know if you can really tell, but it is right there on the cover on him. Of course, it's super fucking faded. Hated, because why would we show Awakening any love? I swear I'll stop bitching about that at some point, but ugh. So then then so Owain's brand of the Exalt shows, and Lissa is overcome with joy because that legitimizes her right to call herself an Elysian princess. There is none of that nuance in here. None of it. And that's why I say that this is aping it. Okay, I suppose I should have talked about this earlier, but fuck it. We'll talk about it now because I forgot about it because I'm an idiot. Let's talk about the recasts. So, let's talk about the recasts because there's three varieties of recast in this game. Okay? There's actually four spectrums of recasting, because I just remembered Michael Center Nicholas actually plays Niles in this game, and he did not in Fates. For the record, I like Michael Center Nicholas as a voice actor. I really do. I love him as Dark Magician in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dawn of the Duel, and I love him, as Mahad, and I love him um, as Leonardo in the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, right? So I have nothing against Michael Center Nicholas, and I actually think he does a great job as Takumi. Not so much as Niles, right? So that's the spectrum. You have the awful, you have the not that great, you have the neutral, and then you have the it's super freaking grew on me, which for the record would be Hinoka, Niles, Lucina, and Camilla in that order, right? From worst to best, right? Hinoka's actress in this game, I mean no disrespect to the voice actress. I really do. I mean that. I'm sure that the voice actress is fine for Hinoka, like the person themselves. But God, that does not sound like Hinoka. I don't know if that's just bias on my part because I spent so much time and I loved how Hinoka sounded in Fates proper, but man, it's different. You know. Sorry, Hinoka, you didn't luck out as favorably as your, in my opinion, frankly, more moronic brother did in this game. Which is funny because Takumi is actually less moronic in this game than he is in the actual Fates, but let's not get into that. Then there's, God. Then there's, of course, so then there's Niles. I don't like how Michael Center Nicholas sounds as Niles. He's trying, and like I said, I like Michael Center Nicholas, but I don't know. I think he was just miscast in that regard. I think that was the problem there. Then there was the one I was neutral on, which is Alexis Tipton, which I'll actually come back to. Because it actually made it because it's actually one of those things that I hear complained about. And then there's Misty Lee replacing Politizo. That doesn't bug me too much because I don't know because I didn't look it up because fuck this game. But I imagine Politizo probably declined to return as Camilla after realizing just how over sexualized the character was. Maybe that's true, or maybe they just couldn't get a hold of her because God knows companies suck at getting a hold of people for roles. I mean, Power Rangers, am I right? But let's talk about Alexis Tipton. Now, I like Alexis Tipton, and she does as good with the role as she can. I just prefer Laura Bailey, I'll be honest. I like Alexis Tipton. I really do. Ooh, she has voiced some really good characters over the years. I would say she was as good of a casting was as they could get, considering they weren't going to get Laura Bailey. Now you're probably thinking, well, why did they not get Laura Bailey? Well, there was a movement that was going on a few years ago, back before this game came out, that was basically voice actors wanting more rights because effectively the conditions for voice acting in video games was kind of, again, based upon what was said by Steve Bloom, and I can believe that because it's Steve Bloom, whom that voice acting conditions for video games were just god awful, and they wanted people to change that. And Laura Bailey was a part of that. So Nintendo basically said, "All right, well, we're just gonna recast you." You know, maybe there was some other reason, but that's the reason. That's the most likely reason to me. Again, speculation, talking out my ass. Moving on. Alexis Tipton does as well as she can. I think she's also still the voice of all the current alts for Lucina in Heroes, to the point where I think nobody will think of Laura Bailey as Lucina. For the record, in my casting, Laura Bailey is still Lucina, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, the recasts are fine. So then we go sucking Fates' cock for a while. Well, I hated the Hoshin Princess chapter. I hated the whole chapters with frickin' with all of the except for except for Xander and Ryoma. I hated the split route chapters because the storyline of these chapters of the four that weren't the Ryoma and Xander chapters were, I shit you not, it was literally the same beat, right? Oh, we saved Sakura from some bandits. And it's, Hinoka thinks we're the kidnappers and must be dealt with. Yes. Takumi thinks that Sakura and Hinoka have been captured. We must deal with this immediately. Hey. We help Elise out. We help, the other group B helps Elise out. Camilla will punish us for kidnapping her sister, even though it would take 2 seconds to explain that we're not actually fucking kidnapping her. She's not in chains. We're not whipping her. What the fuck, Camilla? Like maybe if she wasn't like hopping around, maybe if Elise was like in chains or something, then yeah, okay, sure, or tied up with ropes or whatever. I mean, for God's sakes, Takumi even just refuses to acknowledge this until they literally tie him up. For God's sakes, which is just what? I just yeah. Actually, no. That actually comes when he won't fucking sit still and not attack the Norians. So never mind. I'm wrong. But Takumi does the same thing. Until we kick his ass, he just lets the misunderstanding stand, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? By the way, misunderstandings, endings, and lack of perspective. Keep that in mind when we talk about this game. God. And then, and then, and this is the freaking stupidest part. Excuse me. Excuse me. God damn it. Another young attack. And then and then on the Norian side, Leo attacks us because and doesn't even give us a chance to explain. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? So then we go help out Ryoma and Xander. Then we get the one map I gave a gameplay plus for, which was an orchestrated battle. See, Camilla, we go to try and stop Ryoma and Xander from fighting each other, which is funny because the Norians actually start charging because somebody fires an arrow from within Ryoma's ranks. And even Ryoma's like, wait, who fired that? Right? Now, obviously, he has to go into battle because, well, Xander's charging, so he kind of doesn't have time to investigate who fired that arrow. So then we defeat them both, and, oh, yay, that means they'll listen, right? No, we have to have a chapter where they're possessed and attacking us for no reason. Really? This is also where we meet Korin, who is also under mind control because as they just had to include fucking Iago in here. Why though? Why one of the worst Fire Emblem Fates characters? God damn it! Why? I'm specifically referring to Iago, by the way. Hey, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the problem with the legacy villains in a minute. In it here. Ugh. So then we get to the sieging the Citadel thing. Dario says there's a secret Grindstone-owned Citadel. Yeah, and then there's Takumi's mistrust, which apparently is well placed because the only hint, which also led me to believe that the Chaos Dragon was manipulating Darius, was that mist that attacks him. There's no confirmation one way or another if Darius is actually under the Chaos Dragon's control, by the way. So Darius so Darius leads us in. We go through a really fucking irritating chapter. After Darius is captured, we have to be saved by Marth and his crew. We get out of there, and then we're told the story of the of the sacred dragon. Again, right? The sacred dragon and the chaos dragon fought each other. It is as old as this idea, even in Fire Emblem, is as old as fucking dirt. I mean, Naga and Medeus, anyone? I mean, for God's sakes. Even in this franchise, that idea is old as dirt. So then we go take the World Tree back, which Garneth is basically preventing us from getting Rowan and Leanna's frickin' ultimate weapons. That chapter sucks. And Garneth is completely wasted. Before I talk about the legendary weapons, happens. Let's talk about the legacy villains. They are thoroughly fucking wasted in this game. Thoroughly fucking wasted in this game. Valadar literally just shows up for like one map. Iago is the exact same. Garneth is literally the exact same as well. Hell, and then as soon as we deal with the one chapter they're in, they vanish and never appear again. What? I you're literally just gonna waste all of that potential. And for as much as Fates' dick is sucked in this fucking game, I'm sorry for the obscene analogy, but for as much as this game sucks Fates' freaking dick, heck, they didn't even utilize any of the villains properly in this game, and none of them are playable either. What? So you're telling me it was more important for us to have Tharja and Tharja be a fan service character whose victory animation literally has her frickin' lean on a stack of books with her ass is sticking out. Olivia in that frickin' dancer outfit, freaking freaking Aboro and Niles because we had to have an Owain because they appeared in the story mode. It's just they weren't playable until the DLC because that just makes so much fucking sense. And then we had to have Navarre not be playable until the DLC, which just was like, what the actual fuck? Because the DLC characters were like Navarre and Minerva and Lind. Lind, who has like no story relevance whatsoever. Ever. I mean, same with Lind and Celica, so yeah. Anna's the exact same way. I didn't even talk about Anna because there's nothing to fucking say other than her being the default system voice. It's just a waste. Ah. Ugh. So then the twins get their legendary weapons. And oh, and this is after we free Darius, by the way. So we get back to the Citadel. We get him. We get Darius out of there. We get the legendary weapons, and then Darius betrays us and steals the Shield of Flames, which I haven't even talked about. Because that's their excuse for having warriors from different worlds, is the Shield of Flames, which requires the Gleamstones to be complete in order to deal with the Chaos Dragon, or summon him forth. Because that's always how this works, because why not? Why not rip off Awakening's plot while we're at it? I don't remember if Shadow Dragon was anything like that, so please forgive me, because I have not completed Shadow Dragon at the time of this recording. I hate this. I hate this so much. So Darius betrays us. Mwahaha, I'm evil. You're evil. So then they have the twins have their 10-second despair moment. Then we get a scene that actually got a plus, which was the War Council, which was cool, from chapter 17. Then we find out that the twins' mother is alive, that Queen Yelena is still alive. So they made a big stink about Yelena being dead. Why? Why do you have to trick us? Now, I get it, that's what the twins think has happened, but why were there no hints, no cutaways, is to, maybe show us the freaking, to show us, that Yelena is still alive and under lock and key or something? Like, because Darius' dad gets, like, one cutscene. One! it's the one where he dies. I mean, I get it. The point is that Darius is, the whole idea is Darius kills his own father, which is, what? Fuck that scene. Oh my god, fuck that scene hard. Ugh. So then Darius dies because the Chaos Dragon gets revived. Then we go and we have to reclaim home because we got to go deal with the monsters in town, and before heading back to the World Tree to go deal with the Chaos Dragon. Sure. So then we go and deal with the Chaos Dragon. Again, he is a fucking bullshit boss fight. He takes way too much fucking time to deal, even with weapons that should be effective against him, because apparently he can remove the dragon weakness at will. Fucking excuse you. And then I hate to admit it, but then we get a pretty nice ending, despite the dialogue within the Chaos Dragon's endgame itself. God, I fucking hate this game. Every story beat just pisses me off in some way, shape, or form, except for like a couple. And even then, the more I think about it, it's mostly just the ones I like are because I like is because they were the story beats I liked in the respective games. God, the Shadow Dragon cast is thoroughly fucking wasted in here to an almost disgusting degree. Awakening is almost the exact same fucking thing. And then this game, like I said, kisses Fate's ass all the fucking livelong day. God, fuck this game. Just fuck this game. But I'm done bitching about the game because now it's time to put my money where my mouth is. So that's my final thoughts on the game. It sucks. Hooks, we're done. I have given my reasons why. Let's get into the very nature of a Rantview. And what I mean when I say the word, how my rant views are different from the lore runner's lamentations. See, if I was to do these exactly like lore does his lamentations, I'd be chopping them off. I'd chop it off here, right? We'd be done, right? Because there'd be nothing more to discuss. Lore does not pad out his videos. He talks until he's done, and then he chops it off. However, for Rantview, I wanted to do something different. And this is my solution. My changes section. So this is why I say if you're only here to see why I hate this game, well, we're done. So let's put my money where my mouth is and actually fix Fire Emblem Warriors in some way, right? Now, the premise has to stay that my golden rule is I can't veer off premise. Okay? Details can be changed, but I cannot veer away from the premise. So what is the core premise of Fire Emblem Warriors? Twins, a prince and a princess, and their friend from a neighboring kingdom have to defend their kingdom from the invasion of the Shadow Dragon Velizark, who I didn't even really mention because fuck him, he's not even worth name dropping. So Velizark is the Chaos Dragon. He's reviving himself, elf, and he is pouring monsters from the Outrealms into this world, and the very nature of the Chaos Dragon's power is causing portals to open up and drag warriors from different from different Fire Emblem games into this into this world. Okay. Hey, I'm with it being a Fire Emblem multiverse. I'm with it with there being Blazing Sword, Sacred Stones, the Tellius games, Awakening, Fates, and and maybe the Juggernaut duology. And Three Houses. I'm okay with all of these different sections, all of these ones being different things. By the way, Shadow Dragon and Gaiden would be in with lumped in with Awakening because same timeline. All right. So let's get into the first thing. So you want you want twins, and you want me to balance the roster a bit more, huh? All right, done. Ronan, Rowan, Leanna, and Darius, those concepts can go to hell. Hell. Erica, Ephraim, Ephraim, Erica, and Leon, and replaces them. Replaces them respectfully. Ephraim replaces Rowan, Erica replaces Leanna, and Darius is replaced by Leon. Because that'll actually give us some emotional connection when Leon eventually betrays us. So, in order to. So, also, I would make it a more even focus on each of the things. I would include max from each game Awakening, Fates, and Shadow Dragon 6 characters. It can even be the 6 Shadow Dragon characters that we have had. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But they would be unlockable in game. Instead of this nonsense of half of them being fucking DLC, which means Shadow Dragon only gets 3 characters total to fucking play as, because that is bullshit. But anyways. So the Awakening cast, alright. Or no, not the Awakening cast. The Shadow Dragon cast, yeah, we can leave them as is. Because that actually is fine. Right? Right? So in case you're forgetting, Marth, Sita, Tiki, Navarre, Minerva, and Lind. Those 6 are fine. They can be included. Okay? Awakening? Well, Awakening is a little more skewed because I actually don't think the casting is bad for Awakening. So yeah, I would probably have Lucina, Owain, and Crom, Robin, Lissa, and Frederick as the 6 there. And yes, I absolutely would just say no to Tharja, no to Olivia, unless I was doing DLC. Those 2 would be DLC, absolutely. Fates. I know I'm gonna get. Oh yeah, Azura. I actually forgot about Azura. Azura's in this game. She's literally just there for some reason. But whatever. But anyways, for Fates, the characters I would include would be Corrin, obvious. Oh, by the way, Robin and Corrin would have their other genders as alternate costumes. Just saying. So, Corrin, Ryoma, Xander, and then this is where the biggest change would come in. I'd have Camilla, I'd have Takumi, and then I'd have Azura. So Corrin, Azura, Ryoma, Xander, and Camilla and Takumi. Okay? If we want the other Fates Royals, that's what DLC is for. Okay? Now you're probably thinking, well, what about Niles and Aboro? They don't show up. Not even in the story mode. Just, nope. Eject them. They serve 0 purpose to this story. Fuck them. If we must, we can add them as DLC. Which also I would have more DLC because of course I would. Or at least more characters per DLC pack and actually make it worth a damn. So there's my 6. And so there's there's my roster change. Oh, and then while we're on the subject, let's have the final 6 be, other than. Well, okay. We'd have 4 that would be give me is because, of course, or it's because I would also make two of the playable characters. And I would also make the villains, and the villains that I include. I'll get to my story changes in a minute because I actually didn't write down those story changes, but it's fine because I can just do them off the top of my head. So yeah, so you have so you have Ephraim, Erica, Leon, Anna. Then I would also include Sella. If I had to, I would include Lynn and Celica. By the way, Lynn and Celica would be absolutely unlocked much earlier in story mode, and they would also be a selling point instead of hidden. And I would also announce that I would also have a teaser at the end of the game to be like, there will be a teaser for the DLC, right? For the first DLC pack at the end. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute, right? Right. So yeah. So have those be the six, and have so that way we can actually have the main villain, the main villain of the freaking game be playable, right? So yeah, I'd also try to balance the roster a little bit, which would be more so done through the DLCs, admittedly. Oh yeah, there's another thing. There's something I forgot to bitch about. I'd have online co-op. There is no excuse for there being no online co-op in this game. It is really fucking stupid that there's no online co-op in this game. What the hell? I'm sorry, but by 2018, wait, is it 2018 when this game came out? I have the box right here so I can check. Oh, excuse me, 2017. My bad. So it has been 5 years since this game came out. Good lord. So, 2017, right? I'm sorry, there's no excuse even by 2017 not to have online co op. Even on a Nintendo console. Screw you. At least add it in as like an update later or something. But nope. Whatever. Oh yeah, and I would also try and cut down on the audio spam. So how the hell would the story go? Well, you want to rip off Sacred Stones' narrative? You want to ape Sacred Stones' narrative? Let's actually do it with the Sacred Stones cast! Because then it's just, instead of being a rip-off, it's a dramatic retelling of Sacred Stones. Going through the whole same beats, the only difference is that the Demon Lord is replaced by Velazar. That's literally what it is. And also, I would try to even it out so that way we can actually, make it so that if we're not going to include any of the major elements from, from Sacred Stones, then we can at least give even freaking focus to each of the freaking things. Let's actually have some Shadow Dragon chapters, for God's sakes. I would try to keep it to 4 to 5 freaking chapters per game. So 4 to 5 Awakening chapters, 4 to 5 Fates chapters, and 4 to 5 Shadow Dragon chapters. And then have the remaining 7 chapters, 7 to 9 chapters, be all about Sacred Stones, which makes sense because this is their world. Done! Ah! It's not rocket science. Never mind the fact that literally shows that you're celebrating the frickin' franchise if something as obscure as Sacred Stones could get us at a major focus in a major game like this. Major spin-off like this. But I'd go beyond that. Because at the end, once we've dealt with Velazark, I'd make a teaser trailer. Like, I'd make a post-credit scene. I'd be like, I'd literally show like this, show Oh, the story continues in history mode. And it would basically be a trailer for the DLC, right? History. It, history has not ended. History mode awaits you. Hates you. And I would make Tellius fans fucking scream with joy. Because you know how Crom's Falchion was used for the teaser image and the opening of this? I'd have Ragnell sit in a similar position to where and stand where he stand in the same position as Falchion. A hand grabs Ragnell by the handle, lifts it up, and then you just hear Greg Chung's voice say, "I fight for my friends." Cut it there. That's your teaser. Ike. If you require the subtlety of Sledgehammer, that would be teasing that the first DLC pack would be a Tellius DLC pack. Because of course I would put Ike in the goddamn game. I would tell people, Ike's not in this game. We wanted to focus on Sacred Stones and Shadow Dragon and Awakening and Fates. Stay tuned to the DLCs though. And then, and that would be my big thing. Now you'd be like, okay, well, why would you put Tellius characters as the DLC? Because I'd be testing the waters. Because unlike Intelligent Systems and Nintendo, I would actually want to test the waters for a Tellius remaster. Look, I may not like Radiant Dawn, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't want it remastered and put it on the goddamn Switch. So people who do like that game don't have to spend like $200 to $500 to get their hands on the Tellius Saga across 2 different consoles, no less. Well, okay, technically one if you get the Wii, which is backwards compatible, but you get my point. But there it is. There's my changes. What do you think, guys? Do you think this could actually work, or do you think I'm full of shit? You let me know. Because I am curious. I've ranted long enough. Methinks. God, I've been going for over an hour and a half. Jesus, this is more than double the length of my frickin' of the other rant view that I recorded. Then again, I had less to say because my points were all very self-explanatory. This video's length has reached threshold levels, like Lore's Lore's lamentation on Threshold, where he spent like over an hour ranting about this. Oh, I'm done. This game has wasted potential and has filled me with more dread than hope. No pun intended. For Warriors 3 hopes. Please be good, 3 hopes. Please be good. Please be good, especially considering this is the game you'd be tarnishing by being bad. Ah! The next time you get one of these pre-recorded videos, though, I'll be trying an experiment of sorts. After all, I do love my 3DS. See you next time, guys. Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers, signing out. Hang on. Signing out. Have a good one. That's your hint for what's next, by the way. Till next time, guys.